In the last video, we learned about pointers to pointers. Here we will develop an example of them in use. Let's start with this function that takes an array of two integers and sets the variable pointed to by largest pt to the larger of these values. This program only uses concepts that you've already seen, but let's review a few things. Remember that when we pass an array into a function, the function is only getting the address of the array. So while we could give the type as int a followed by square brackets, it is more conventional to show that a is type int star. We also pass the size of the array, since we need it to search the entire array for the largest element. And here we are passing in a pointer to an int. The integer it points to must already be allocated, because in these two statements we dereference largest. As an aside, the function assumes that the array has at least one element. This is a pretty typical way of searching an array. So we call findLargest like this, passing it an array of two integers, and the address of the integer that will be set by the function. Now let's change things up. What if, instead of holding two integers, a held two integer pointers? You might think that it would be weird to have an array of pointers, but it's actually very common. Soon we will start working with programs where the main function receives information from the operating system using an array of pointers. So the values of a are now the addresses of I and j, and the type of a is array of int star. Now our function should take an array of two integer pointers and set largest pt to point to the larger of the two integers that are pointed at by those two pointers. Does anything need to change here? The function still doesn't return anything, so a void return type remains correct. The function is still called findLargest. It still takes an array, but now the type of each element is int star, so a itself is int star star. Does this need to change? Let's look at where we will call the function. This hasn't changed. In the end, largest will still be an integer, so the parameter in the function is okay. Now what about the function body? What has to change here? A is a pointer to int, so we need to dereference it twice to get an integer. We'll need to make similar changes elsewhere. Instead of just getting an integer from the array, we'll need to dereference the pointer we get from the array. And that should be it. Let's compile and run to confirm that it works.